What is going on, Niner fans? How are we feeling? Let's go talk a little Niner news today. Well, there's a lot of news that was going on. Obviously, the big news of the day, the Niners are bringing in Asante Samuel for a workout next Monday. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what Kyle Shanahan said at the press conference today. He had a lot to say. There was a lot of injury updates, obviously, status updates. We're back to practice this week. It's a Rams week. We got to talk about everything that Kyle said. We signed a defensive lineman today. There's a lot. Kyler Murray news. He's not going to play for a couple of weeks. He's on the injured reserve, soft benching maybe. Jacoby Brissett, he's going to be the starter for the Cardinals for the next couple of weeks as they're allowing Kyler Murray to rest his foot. He's got an injury on his foot, kind of like Brock Purdy. It's kind of weird. He's, on the IR, Kyler Murray. Brock Purdy's trying to come back. We're going to talk about that. How are we doing? How are we doing? Blooming Cat says, you jinxed it yesterday when you said you should stay away from guys with neck injuries. I did. Everybody was asking, should we get Asante Samuel? Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they didn't listen to me. They're going to do a tryout, a workout with Asante Samuel next week. But Asante Samuel, he's basically going on a world tour. If you looked at Asante Samuel news, this man, he got cleared. He's going to tour literally every single team. Not every team, but a lot of teams. So it says it'll be a busy couple of weeks for Asante Samuel Jr. This is the rap sheet report. He's visiting the Panthers. This was today. After that, Packers on Thursday, the Vikings on Friday, 49ers on Monday, the Bears Tuesday, and the Steelers on Wednesday. This man was cleared by his doctor, right? He got a letter from his agent that he's cleared, and now he's going on a world tour. He's going to all these teams. He's going to the Panthers, 49ers, the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, the Steelers. All these teams are going to meet with him. And the 49ers are one of them. So that's my guy. I liked him in the draft process. Not going to lie to you. I loved Asante Samuel. But neck injuries, steer clear. Steer clear. I don't want Asante Samuel. I know a lot of people do. He's a great, talented player. His dad was an amazing player in the league, and he's so talented. I remember when we were drafting the year he came out, and I was like, oh my God, please, Asante Samuel. And I was like praying. Like the neck injury, he had spinal fusion. Listen, that's risky business. With this Niners team, the injuries the Niners have, do you really want a guy with a spinal fusion? I don't, but people love the name. And he's a good player if he's healthy. But spinal fusion, stay away. I don't know. Looks like I had a long day. I'm a busy guy, man. I work a PT job. I have a home health job. And then I have picked my daughter up from work. I got notes to do. I run this page. I'm never like just not busy. And then I'm been packing because I'm moving this weekend. I'm a busy guy, but I can't not be busy. I gotta do shit. Anyways, you think he'll be good depth? Like Verrett? Listen, I love Jason Verrett. I love Asante Samuel Jr. I just depth. It's not good depth if he's injured. If he's not going to want to be a depth player. He's going to want to be a starter. Like he is a great player. If he could be 100% healthy, yes. Him and Diamond Lenore would cook with Renardo Green. To me, it's risky. That's just me. You guys can disagree, and I don't care. I could be wrong on this. If he comes back and he's a star, and I'm like, damn, I'll take the L. I'll take the L on that. But my take is it's too risky. So, yeah. Lynch is cooked, says Cosmo. I was not happy about it. Last night with Larry, we kind of went off. Listen, and I know there's a lot of people say, oh, well, you just got to keep the draft picks. The Niners don't draft good. They don't draft good. Let's be honest. In the first couple of rounds, they draft good in the late rounds. Let me rephrase that. They don't draft good in the first rounds, typically. They've had a few hits, Brandon Aiyuk, but look at him now. The injuries is tough. Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, he's not a team anymore. There's been very few good first-round picks with this regime. I don't know. I would have given up the picks for proven talent. They're 6-3. NFC is still wide open. And right now, the 49ers, this is the way I look at it. They're playing with house money. They got nothing to lose. They're going to go into this weekend against the Rams, and everybody thinks the Niners are going to lose, except me. Everybody thinks the Niners are cooked. Everybody's talking about the Rams, Matt Stafford. Oh, my God. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. listen, the Niners have there's no pressure on the Niners. If they lose, everybody expects them to lose. If they win, shit, the Niners beat the Rams without Michael, without Nick Bosa, without Fred Warner, without blah, 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 without all the players. People are going to be like, listen, we got 2 head coaches. We got Robert Saleh, who's a dog. The things he's doing this year is great. Brett Boyer's a good coach. He's got a top 5 special teams unit. Shout out to Eddie Pinheiro. But other reasons, there's good players. Saran Neal is a very good special teams player. And then you got Kyle Shanahan. This is his best year as a coach. I'm not telling you because I'm a Niner fan. I'm telling you because it's true. Kyle Shanahan is coaching his ass off this year. Listen, we have good coaches. It's an NFC West game. Anything can happen. The Niners win this game, the league needs to put some respect up. 4-0 in the division, you might as well give the division to the Niners. That's crazy. It's like probably a guaranteed wild card spot if they don't lose out. So, good to see you too, Renee. The extra hour of sleep last weekend was great. It was good for me too. It was good for everybody. How can we keep Robert Saleh for next year? We pray and we beg and we get down and grovel. I hope we don't lose him. I expect to. I know he's going to get a lot of coaching opportunities and offers. He's going to get a lot of offers this off season. What he's done with this team has been incredible. Blooming says kind of odd. Michael still isn't on the IR. Yeah, they'll make the move probably this weekend. They still have they have an extra roster spot, so they're probably looking to bring people in. This weekend they'll probably put Clelin Ferrell on the active roster. They'll promote him. He'll be on the active roster, and then they'll put Michael on the injury reserve. I'm surprised they didn't do it also, but they're probably waiting to see who they're going to elevate this weekend. They got a new guy. We're going to talk about him, but that's probably what they're going to do. They'll probably do it Saturday, elevations and stuff. So, yeah. Julius says when Krug said the Rams would win 35-20, I was shocked. This man, nobody believes in the Niners. They got nothing to lose. Listen, I got to tell you, the Rams have so much pressure. Everybody thinks they're the best team in the NFC. Everybody thinks they're going to win the NFC and the NFC West. Everybody says they're the top team. They got this. They're so good. That's a lot of pressure. You're coming into the Niners house, it's a team that knows you. Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan they've known each other from like the last 15 years. They know each other. They know how to coach. Regardless if the Niners are beat up or not, Kyle Shanahan knows how to play against Sean McVay. They're studying film. It's a chess game. And the Niners got nothing to lose. Mac Jones has been playing with nothing to lose all season. He's got house money, playing with house money. Christian McCaffrey's unbelievable this year. George Kittle's back, right? They still got a formidable team. Now, Bryce Huff is back. That's huge. The Niners know how to neutralize the Rams. Like, no matter what, they've had Aaron Donald, and the Niners were able to neutralize him most of the time. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be closer than many people think. But Chris says, do you believe Kyle Shanahan is coach of the year? Absolutely. This is what he's done. I don't know how you're winning the games. You're 6-3. You got like bubble gum and pop rocks on your roster. You're patching your team together with Velcro, and you're 6-3. It's incredible, man. It's absolutely incredible. He's definitely head coach of the year to me. Julius says, is it true Brock Purdy could come back Sunday? I mean, he's got a chance. Kyle said it every week, but he's limited. Kyle said he's going to try to give him more reps, more first-team reps. I don't think Brock starts this weekend. I know they're going to say it's a chance. He's your $53 million quarterback. You got to see that there's got to be a chance that he plays. They haven't put him on the injury reserve yet. But there is a chance, but Mac Jones is healthy. And Kyle said, until he's healthy, there's no issues, there's no pain, we'll make him the starter again. But right now, you got to roll with Brock Purdy. Or Mac Jones, the hot hand. So let's run through the updates. And there will be some questions answered from that. So the 49ers today, they added Andrew Farmer II to the practice squad. Defensive lineman. He's been around the league a little bit. We'll see. I don't know too much about Andrew Farmer. You guys might know more about him than me. But they added him to the practice squad. This is our big signing. Andrew Farmer. That's who they brought. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe they'll call him up this weekend. You need depth. At this point, you need depth, right? That's it. Bottom line, they needed depth. So they got Andrew Farmer. Ricky Pearsall. Did not practice today. He did not practice. It's not looking good. He was supposed to have a chance this week. Kyle Shanahan said that Ricky Pearsall's injury is taking longer to heal than expected. Said there's no setback, but it's taking longer to heal than expected. I told you guys, PCL injuries are not good. I didn't expect it to get healthy as soon as Kyle said. When he said he'll be back with like 2 weeks, I was like, for a PCL injury, that's a little weird to me. And Ricky Pearsall, he's being evaluated this is what's happening to Ricky Pearsall. He's being evaluated every single week on Wednesday when they go to practice, reevaluated. Do you know what medical staff is evaluating him? Yes, the 49ers medical staff. They're the butt of every joke, right? They're a bad medical team, according to everybody out there. Everybody says blame the staff, the training staff, the athletic team, the medical staff. That's who's evaluating Ricky Pearsall. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say. So, yes, he's reevaluated. He's not practicing. Brock Purdy, limited, but he will get more first-team reps. He's trending towards getting better, but he's still limited. The 49ers, we talked about this. They're scheduled to visit with Asante Samuel next Monday. We talked about that. Yetur Gross-Matos. There's news about Yetur Gross-Matos. Yetur Gross-Matos is expected back at some point this season, despite re-aggravating his hamstring injury last week. He says it's not as bad, that he's probably coming back this season. At this point, keep him on the injury. Just keep him on the injury reserve. Yetur Gross-Matos will come back, and I guarantee you he will get injured again. Just please, Kyle. I'm done with YGM. The experiment's over. Bigfoot, don't bring him back. Ben Barch was a full go today. That's good. But I don't need Ben Barch because the same thing that will happen to YGM will happen to Ben Barch. I think Spencer Burford did a great job at left guard. Keep him. I don't want to play musical chairs with my offensive line. Get some chemistry and let them build their communication on the line. I feel like Spencer Burford and Trent Williams played good on the left side together. Keep it there. I don't want Ben Barch back in. He hasn't played since, week 2? I don't want him on this team because he's going to get hurt, and it's going to mess up the chemistry. The offensive line, you have to have chemistry on the O-line. Ben Barch ain't got no chemistry right now with anybody. The only thing Ben Barch has chemistry with is the physical therapist on this team. That's it. That's probably the only chemistry he's got is good rehab. Get him off. Don't put him back. I don't care if he was full go for practice today. A couple other updates here. You got, let's see, who else didn't practice? D. Winters, he was limited. Darrell Luter, full participation. I think he had an Achilles injury, I guess. Juwan Jennings, full participation. Bryce Huff came back to practice today. That's huge. Bryce Huff back in practice. He was limited. Jake Brendel, hamstring limited. Jake Brendel can stay recovering as well. Like Jake Brendel, listen, you can stay because Matt Hennessy has been absolutely great. I think Matt Hennessy has been great. I'm going to pull up some stats from the man, Coach Yak. He posted Matt Hennessy's stats since he took over for Jake the Snake Brendel. Listen to this. Listen to Jake Brendel, man. Look at this. Jake Brendel's stats since he took over, or Matt Hennessy's stats since he's taken over Jake Brendel. 86 pass blocking opportunities. He's had 86 opportunities where he has to pass block. He's allowed 0 sacks. 3 pressures, not bad. 1 quarterback hit and 86 pass blocking opportunities, no sacks, 3 pressures, 1 quarterback hit. Not bad. 98.3 pass blocking efficiency, 63.4 pass blocking grade, a 66.4 run blocking grade, a 67.1 overall grade, and no penalties. It's pretty good. It's efficient. It's better than Jake Brendel. No sacks. He's got good communication. The run game's been great since he's been in. I think we need to keep Matt Hennessy at center. That's it. Cosmo says, our hope every week is our players coming back from injury. Yeah, we hope players come back. I just don't want YGM and Ben Barch because they're going to go back to being injured. So might as well keep them on the ice them on the bench and let them be depth. At this point, Ben Barch and YGM are liabilities. So Throwback says Raj forgot to say go Warriors. Yeah, we got to watch the game. After the stream, we're going to watch the Warriors. I don't have to stream with Larry, so I get to watch the Warriors game. This man, Larry, makes it hard for me to watch the Warriors, but I love Larry, so better stream. Blooming says the whole point of that was 2 players instead of 1, and 1 player doesn't play and the other one is meh. Yeah, it's terrible. Niner Goat says Walter Nolan looked like a buzzsaw. He looked good. He's good. I wanted him. I said Walter Nolan's gonna be a dog. He looked great against Dallas yesterday. Kyle and Forster will do everything they can to ruin the run game with Brendel coming back. Says throwback. I pray they don't, man. I don't know why they love that guy. They say he's the bee's knees. Listen, the run game was the best it ever was last game against the Giants, but the Giants have a bad run defense. Their run defense is atrocious. So I think that's part of it. The Niners looked amazing. Stats might have been inflated because the Giants are a bad run defense, but I'm still thinking it was good because the blocking was better. The offensive line was better. But again, sometimes you just need to get started. You need a motivation. You need a confidence. You play a bad team and it springboards you. I don't know. I think this run defense, of course, the Giants is bad, but I feel like the 49ers run game looked a lot better, and I think it's going to continue to get better. I don't know. Keep Matt Hennessy. Keep Spencer Burford. They're healthy. You got Jake Brendel coming back with a hamstring injury. He's slow already. Like, he's a slow offensive lineman. Now you add a hamstring injury and you want to bring him back? Makes no sense to me. That's all I'm saying. So that's my take on it. I could be wrong, but I'm probably right on that one. Let's see. A couple other updates. Puka Nacua of the Rams, he had a rib injury he suffered this weekend, but he is practicing limited. And Sean McVay says that he expects Puka to play against the Niners. So Niners will be playing with a little bit of a banged up Puka Nacua. I mean, I don't wish any injuries on anybody. I hope Puka's good to go and 100%. I don't want any excuses. That guy's a dog. He's an absolute beast. Best receiver in the NFC, arguably, because JSN is there too, and he's a dog. So NFC West has some great receivers, and Puka is definitely one of them. So it's going to be a battle, and he is going to play on Sunday against the Niners. So good for him. A couple other things. Kyle Shanahan did talk about why the Niners didn't make a trade. Let's talk about this because a lot of us had some thoughts, right? We've all said it. They should have made a trade. At least give your team a chance. Give you one more pass rusher because the team is 6-3. It's wide open NFC. Kyle said, just because you make a big trade doesn't always mean it's a smart move. We looked at a ton of them, but the asking price was too high. So they did their due diligence, and they said it was too much for their blood, right? The asking price was just too much. It was out of their ballpark. And they just didn't do it. You know, they wanted to. They looked. Obviously, there was a report, right? Jermaine Johnson, they wanted a second-round pick, and Niners didn't want to give up that second-round pick because they want to draft another Dante Pettis next season. I don't know, man. He says just because you make a big trade doesn't always mean it's a smart move. He says a lot of other 6-3 teams didn't. A lot of other 6-3 teams don't have injuries like the Niners, is my way I look at it. We're banged up. We still got a chance. Give your team a fighting opportunity down the stretch. You need pass rush in the playoffs. The Niners are probably going to make playoffs. You need pass rush in the playoffs, bottom line. And I know they got Bryce Huff. I like Clelin Ferrell. Keon White was added. They got to stay healthy. Sam O, like those guys are good. Are they good enough to make you to the Super Bowl? You're playing Super Bowl in Levi. So I feel like they could have got one more. I know everybody's saying, you know, you don't give up the draft picks, but you give up the draft picks for a proven star. Like, I don't know. Again, the draft picks are a crapshoot. The history of the 49ers drafting has not been good with this regime in the first few rounds. I would have taken the draft pick and sent it. I would have said F them picks and tried to get a star. That's my take. I would have got a superstar player or at least a really good player on this team. That's me. I mean, I get why. I understand his logic. I understand 100%. Like, they want to keep the draft. They want to build through the draft. They got a lot of high contracts, so you need to keep the cap space down. Draft picks are the way to do it. I understand it. So I get where they're coming from a business standpoint. But, man, I'm still a little irritated that they didn't. But, hey, it is what it is. Bryce Huff's coming back. I think this defensive line is going to be a little bit better over the next couple of weeks with Huff coming back. Sam O looks like his engine's revved up. He looks good. I think Keon White will get better. And we'll see what happens. You know, maybe they'll call up Evan Anderson. I like him. I liked him last year. Give him a shot. Give him a chance. We'll see what happens. Clelin Ferrell, though, was a fantastic addition to this team. Niner Mafia says, one guy wasn't going to put him over the top. We need all the picks that we can save for the draft. I don't know. I disagree because the Niners are going to get a lot of draft picks. They always get compensatory picks. So and this is the way I look at it. If the 49ers make the playoff, they're going to be like towards the end of the draft pick list. So like their first round pick is going to be like a second round pick. Their second round pick's not going to be a high, second round pick. So I just feel like those picks aren't going to be as high. Like, yes, you say first round pick, but a first round pick could be like 30th pick, 31st, 29th. That's basically like the second round, right? So I don't know. Niners typically draft late when you make the playoffs. You're going to be one of the last 18 from like 18 to 32 in that range. So I don't know. It's not going to be like a high top 10 pick. I get it. You need draft picks. You need to keep stocking it. But you want to win now. The Super Bowl is it's not always in your home stadium. That's it. Bottom line. They need an injection of juice, says AJ. I agree with that. Cosmo says, Raj, Lynch needs to preserve his draft pick since he's so good at evaluating players. I don't know about that. I'd say he's above average, but it's tough. You just look at the draft, man, and you just look at it and you're like, I don't know, man. If they get another Javon Kinlaw, Mike McGlinchey, Aaron Banks, like they've had just Reuben Foster, they've had diabolical failures. So that's why I look at it and say, you really need the draft pick? I don't know. I get it though. I get where I can see the argument both sides. We can't afford a star on this team. Who says that? I think we can. Niners still have a lot of cap space. They just have backloaded money. That's why they didn't bring back a lot of players this year, and they wanted to get younger. So I understand the business standpoint, but they could have signed someone else. There's ways at the end of the season, restructure you could always find a way to make it work. Cowboys added Quinnen Williams. They're paying Dak Prescott $55 million or $60 million, whatever he's getting paid. CeeDee Lamb's getting paid a buku bucks. They're paying a lot of guys big money, and they went and got Quinnen Williams. That's crazy. So I know you were being sarcastic. That's why I was joking. I know it. Law says, this is unbelievable. The meltdown this time may just be warranted. Huge miss or 6-3. They really screwed the team and fan base, and the mutiny may be justified. I think it is justified. I know some people say it's not. Got to chill out. But I feel like, yes, I heard what Christian McCaffrey said today. Like, he says that the team is telling us that they're confident with who we have, with the guys they have. It's a vote of confidence. And I think that's great. You want to be confident. Like, you're confident in CMC, confident in Trent Williams. You're confident in, Dion Lenore and all these guys that are left. Like, I get it. I'm confident on this team too. Like I said, I think they could beat the Rams, right? But at the end of the day, you just need a little bit more to get you over the hump, because the playoffs, it's a different mindset. You need as many pass rushers as you can to get to the team. I feel like the fans were really bummed out. I know they added players this year. Like, they did add Keon White. They did get Bryce Huff. It's not that they haven't tried. They really have. They brought in Eddie Pinheiro, right? The fucking amazing kicker. Like, they got rid of Jake Moody. The Niners have definitely tried, and they've done everything they could to make the fans happy. Extended Warner, extended Kittle, extended Bosa. Unfortunately, Bosa and Warner got hurt. So you can't, it's not the Niners' fault. It's not John Lynch's fault. But they still could have made one more move. I feel like they owed it to us. But again, from what Kyle was saying, it was too high. It was too high. And they really are valuing those draft picks. So at the end of the day, to end this whole discussion, they better nail those draft picks. Bottom line, the Niners better nail those draft picks. That's it. Bottom line. Nail the draft picks, John. If you nail the draft picks, everybody's going to be hyped up. So, yeah, let's get back to the updates. A couple more. I said Bryce Huff's return today. Yeah, he did. Great news. He'll be playing this week, most likely. Hamstring injury. I wanted to see if he's going to be 100% off that hamstring. That is a little of a tough injury to come back from. But if Bryce Huff is 100% ready to roll, it's huge for the 49ers defensive line. So that is good. It's kind of like bringing in someone from the trade deadline, right? Bryce Huff is back. That's nice. One more guy we got to talk about. This guy was supposed to come back maybe week 10. He's week to week. They haven't opened his practice window. Kyle Shanahan says that he does feel pretty confident that he's going to play at some point this season, or at least open his window. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Brandon Aiyuk. Kyle Shanahan said the team is pretty confident Brandon Aiyuk will play at some point this season. Who knows when? When? I couldn't tell you. Kyle Shanahan can't tell you. Nobody can tell you when Brandon Aiyuk's coming back, but not opening up his window this week. And they just said, hey, he's week to week. Pretty confident he's going to play. I don't know. Will Brandon Aiyuk play this season? I don't know. Yeah, Brandon. Like I said, not every year you have the Super Bowl in the backyard. It's crazy. But stop Brandon Aiyuk, man. This knee was absolutely shredded. And I remember sitting here last year going, oh God, it's a bad injury. I don't know when he's coming back next year. Everybody was saying week 8. I swear I remember saying, I was like, what are people talking about? Week 8? At least I said like week 12. I remember saying like week 10 to 12 around that time. We're getting close to that week 10 to 12. This man tore his ACL, his medial meniscus, and his MCL. Bro, that is the triple triad, the holy triad of the knee. He ripped apart his whole knee. That is as bad as it gets for any athlete, for any knee injury in any athlete. Dude, that is so bad. And I knew it was going to be extensive recovery because I'm a physical therapist. I've dealt with patients with that injury. It is so extremely tough to rehabilitate that injury, especially for an athlete, because they have to be able to be such a high-end, athlete. They have to do so much planting and running and, lateral movements, and it's got to be precisely back to where it needs to be for that recovery. And unfortunately for Brandon Aiyuk, he's not where it needs to be. There's certain markers you have to meet, right? And I think he's probably close, but it's frustrating, and I'm sure he's frustrated. I'm sure he wants to come back. But unfortunately, Brandon Aiyuk is not ready to come back. They said they're pretty confident, but I don't know if he comes back this year. At this point, it's tough, man. And when he does come back, if he does come back, is he going to be effective? How good is he going to be? He's going to be rusty. I think someone in the comments said he's going to be a shell of himself. I 100% could see that. Like, that's not a bad take. It's not being negative. Man hasn't played football for over a year. He's been rehabbing. Will he be the same person physically? I don't know. And mentally, it is such a hard condition to come back from, like an injury to come back from, because you start doubting yourself. You start doubting your abilities, and then you're frustrated, and you got to get back into the rhythm. He hasn't had an off season to train, right? He's been rehabbing. He hasn't had training camp. He hasn't had mini camp, any of that stuff. He's going to be so rusty. You're going to need to dump a bottle of WD-40 on the mat to get the rust out, to get the kinks out. He's not going to be what he was when on the first week he comes back. For the first couple of weeks, it's going to take some time to get that rust off. So I feel bad. Unfortunate news for Brandon Aiyuk. So, so Niner Mafia says BA will be a shell of himself. I don't disagree with that. Blooming Cash says people would have been pissed if the White trade happened yesterday. Yeah, look at how the Bears fans acted when they got a rotational edge. That's a good point. That's a very good point, Blooming Cash. It's kind of interesting because it's all about timing. If the Niners got Keon White, we were pretty happy. We needed the move. We had all the injuries. It's like, oh my God, we need to get something. And boom, they got Keon White and Clelin Ferrell on the same day, and we were fucking hyped up. Now, had that happened yesterday, it wouldn't have hit the same because we're like, well, what? That's who you're bringing in. That's who you're bringing in. So it's all about timing. I think that last week, that was great. We needed some pass rushers. We were absolutely depleted. But now we just needed like one more really, really good edge guy to give us a little bit more juice. And if it would have been Keon White, I think Niner fans would have been a little bit disappointed that it wasn't Bradley Chubb, that it wasn't Trey Hendrickson, that it wasn't, like Jalen Phillips, one of those guys, Kayvon Thibodeau, right? Like somebody of that caliber. And we would have been like, we settled for him. But because it was last week, well, we got Keon White. That's good. And it was good at the time they did it. So honestly, smart by the front office to play it that way. So Renee says, well, I think when Brock comes back, he will be rusty as well. I agree. Law of Oz says, I'm almost positive now. This is why Aiyuk isn't playing. That they want to trade him in the offseason and they don't want him to be injured has to be the case. That's a good take, actually. I've heard some people say that. I've had a lot of people text me that. Do you think that they want to keep him healthy in case they trade him this offseason. Honestly, that's not a bad take. They may want to take his contract off the books, and if he's hurt and he shows that he's, not the same guy, it's not going to be good to trade him. So if he doesn't play and he looks, you could just tell, oh, he's healthy. He's healthy. I mean, they wait. I mean, it took Greenlaw a long time to get back. He had one really good game, and then they shut him down. I think the Niners may want to do something similar, like get BA one game, make sure he looks good, and then shut him down after that. And then, you do what you got to do. It's a good take. I mean, who knows if it's going to happen, because it's a big contract. And I don't know if a lot of teams would want to take that on for a guy that has basically missed a year and a half. But Miko is restructured, right? So Chris says, is it just me, or do we get more penalties at home than we do on the road? We get penalties more than any team, I feel like. But we do get penalized a lot at home, huh? That home crowd doesn't. Those home refs, they don't give it. They don't help us. My man Julius says, light the beam. Stop it. Listen, I'm so tired of Sacramento fans. I'm about to end the stream because I got to watch this game. Listen, if Sacramento wins tonight, just remember, no Steph Curry, no Jimmy Butler, and no Draymond Green. I have a lot of Sacramento fans chirping. I live in San Jose, so I have a lot of friends live in Sacramento. One of my friends, she was texting me this morning. She's like, look, we're going to beat you. We're going to light the beam. I was like, yeah, you're going to beat a team without Jimmy, Steph, and Dre? Not light the beam. Light the beam. I hope the Warriors win today. Anyways, that's it for today. That's the news. We're going to recap really quick. Let's do a real recap of all the updates today. As you know, Kyler Murray, injured reserve. He will not play against the 49ers. It's going to be Jacoby Brissett. The 49ers signed Andrew Farmer II to the practice squad. Big move. Ricky Pearsall did not practice. Kyle Shanahan said that the knee is taking longer to heal than expected. Brock Purdy, limited in practice today, but he will get more first-team reps this week. Brandon Aiyuk, they feel pretty confident that he's going to play this week, this year. They feel pretty confident that he's going to play at some point this season, but who knows? They don't know. Kyle Shanahan said, just because you make a big trade doesn't always mean it's a smart move. We looked at a ton of them, but the asking price was too high. Bryce Huff returned to practice. Good news. He was limited. It's a great sign, and he's expected to play on Sunday. 49ers, they scheduled a visit next Monday with Asante Samuel Jr. See what happens. He's got a world tour. He's scheduled a tour, tryout with multiple teams that we talked about: the Vikings, Panthers, Steelers, the Niners, and the Packers. Yetur Gross-Matos has a chance to come back this season. I hope he does it. Ben Barch has a chance to come back this weekend. He can stay recovering. He was full go in practice. Puka Nacua, rib injury. He will play against the 49ers most likely. So those are your updates. Go Warriors. Smash the beam. I love y'all. Have a good night.